was the number one player in her class. This was the presumed number one pick in her class for the longest time until Caitlin is, I think, overtaken her now. She's had some injury stuff now. This UConn team is, we'll see exactly what they are. Ozzie Flood maybe hasn't hit the highs you might have hoped for her coming out of high school as well. There's a lot on the line for Paige this year, and we need to see how healthy she is. I just cannot wait to see her because she's an amazing player, but let's also see what this really looks like as we get going here.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it would be pretty hard for me to see her surpass Caitlin Clark no matter what happens this year. I think she has an inside track to be the second overall pick, which is obviously...
So you would have her over Angel Reese, I guess, is what I guess the follow-up to that.
Yeah, I need to see, and I'm not even saying it like as an Angel Reese thing. I'm saying it as I need to watch her more with an eye toward the WNBA than I have. But I just think what Paige Bueckers can do as an offensive player and what she can do creating for others, creating for herself, like all of that to me, I would have her higher. But I'm looking, a WNBA mock draft from NBA Draft Room, and he does really good work. I think his name's Mike. He has her fifth. Paige.
Yeah.
So
the win one right now has Caitlin Clark, then Cameron Brink, then Paige Bueckers, then Aaliyah Edwards, then Rakea Jackson from Tennessee, then Camila Cardoso from South Carolina, and then Angel Reese is 7th, and then Georgia Moore is 8th.
Yeah, I mean, scouting in the W is always hard. The sample sizes are, I guess they're the same in college, but, players just have different pathways, and the college stuff, they have to stay longer, but it's harder to maybe gauge their ceiling because they can be dominant in college for a long time before they have to go pro. There's a lot, so it very clearly is up in the air. I think from a UConn standpoint, this has a chance to be a really, really, really great team, though. Because you just listed Aaliyah Edwards. She's basically their center. She's a projected top 5 pick, as is Azzi Fudd, who will go the following year. She is, I actually think she's pretty amazing. She's like one of the best shooting prospects we've ever seen. And then they have Nika Mule, who is a likely first-round pick and even better shooter potentially than Fudd, just not quite as big. And then a senior, Aubrey Griffin, who is a super senior kind of COVID eligibility person who should just round them out. Like, if they all stay healthy, they'll be right there, and Paige will have a really good chance to dominate. I really like her. I think she plays the right way and makes her teammates better, and I value that really highly. Either way, good to see her back on the court. She's had 2 entire seasons pretty rocked by injuries.
She's a superstar if she's healthy, and there's literally no question about that. There's zero question about this. It's all about her health at this point. And this is the year you mentioned this UConn team. They're also getting back 3 post players who missed last year. Like, they're getting back they're getting back a post player who missed all of last season with injury to add to 2 other post players that they have coming back. Like, they're gonna be pretty loaded up front in a way that they maybe haven't in a couple years, which is interesting. And if Paige plays up to her potential, she could be the best player in women's college basketball. I don't think that's like an insane thing to say that she could have that kind of year all around. I understand the injury stuff, and I understand that Caitlin Clark hype and performances are to the moon and all this stuff, but it's not out of the question that Paige has that kind of comeback year, and it's oh, y'all must have forgot who I am. That would not be at all surprising if she just pops off that way. And we're at the Final Four when you're visiting me in wonderful Cleveland, Ohio, in March and early April, and we're at the title game, and Paige Bueckers is holding up having won the Final Four most outstanding player and wins a national title. That is very much in the cards for her if she's healthy and this UConn team is as good as it can be.
Well, and that's why I mentioned that she's on a better team, and that will matter. That'll matter in terms of hype. That'll matter in terms of team, winning and success and how far they go in the tournament and all that stuff. There's a reason UConn players tend to be first-round picks, even if they're not always the best WNBA players. It's a spotlight. It's insulation from a talent standpoint. It's all that stuff. So she stands to benefit from that a lot. I think she's a better half-court playmaker than Caitlin Clark is. I think both of them have a ways to go on defense, but Paige might have a little bit of a leg up there. Nobody has the shooting and scoring talent that Clark has. Nobody has the kind of physical toughness quite in the same way, but they're not far apart. And I think the fact that some mock drafts have her, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever at this point is going to feel silly by March.
Yeah, it's again, provided health. Like I could see an argument for 5 just based on if you're worried that her body's not going to hold up. I don't think that's invalid.
Isn't for 7 months, so by then we'll know, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Do you think she's someone that could stay another year in the way that we've talked about Caitlin staying for another year?
I mean, if her health doesn't cooperate, I would think she probably should. Yeah. But if she stays healthy and plays well and they dominate the way that they're capable of, I think she should go pro. But I always think everybody should go pro, and it's probably selfish. I mostly just want to see them.
But in that context, yeah.
Yeah, I just want to see them in the W rather than, okay, there's going to be some other UConn player coming up soon that can fill that void, and UConn will always be there. I just selfishly want to see the best players be pros, so it's probably more where it's coming from.
I don't disagree.